When I left Fox, I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. She went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed. And he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. And I thought he was a producer, but instead he was an exhibitor. And I'd never seen anyone naked before, except myself. So I had no clue about what was happening. And so it struck me so funny, I laughed at him. And I laughed uproariously. I had tears, you know, and he got infuriated. And he said, out, 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 go.
Did you tell your mother?
Well, I was very quiet. I went down and met her in the lobby of the administration building. She came out very quietly from Louis B. Mayer's office, and we walked hand in hand silently to the car, which was unusual. We got in the car driving home. I said, Mom, you won't believe what happened to me. And I told her what happened, and she got kind of quiet, and she said, well, you don't know what happened to me. And Louis B. Mayer wasn't as bad as Freed was to me.
Have you tried it?
He came on to my mother. And so we both decided that we didn't like MGM much. It was, you know, it was better at Fox.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. This just kind of that was Shirley Temple, and she was a darling child actress of the 50s and 60s, right?
Yes, she was.
And I mean, that was her first experience going to a movie studio gig where, you know, this is how long the casting couch has been a thing. I mean, it's been around forever. You know what I mean? Imagine being a 40, 50-year-old man stripping down and being, you know, flaunting yourself in front of a 12-year-old girl, being like, hey, so you ready to be a movie star at MGM or what? And then just the girl being so innocent and not knowing what to do just starts laughing because you're naked, you know? I mean, like, good for her. I mean, her mom did a good job sheltering and protecting her up until that point. But yeah, I mean, clearly the guys at Fox were...
MGM.
No, the guys at Fox were clearly more reasonable than the dudes at MGM were at that particular time because they knew not to do that sort of thing. But holy cow. I mean, it just goes to show you how far back this goes. You know, I mean, there's always been rumors of the casting couch, you know. That's why I like listening to people like Jeremy Boring on the Daily Wire. Like, you know, he was talking about how he went whenever he was optioning a script that he wrote to a major studio, and like he goes, well, did you guys have any actresses in mind? And Jeremy Boring was like, yeah, we had this actress and this actress in mind. And he goes, no, I've already seen them naked. Who else you got? So the studio, the studio executive was doing it based on which celebrities he could sleep with. You know, I mean, it goes to show you the character of a lot of these girls in Hollywood. You know, they'll absolutely do whatever it takes to get to the top. You know, I mean, obviously it's their fault too, the studio executive's fault as well. They bring these girls in and pressure them and don't you want to get a role? But I mean, these girls also sell their souls to get the role. So it's really sad, this entire pervasive industry that Hollywood has created and this atmosphere. And again, like that was just one. I mean, that's Shirley Temple, the original little first darling really ever created from Hollywood. You know, like she was the culture kind of back then. So I mean, wasn't that her, like the Hard Knock Life and all that stuff? Like that's her original. Wasn't she the Orphan Annie? Right?
Probably. I don't remember. You know, that wasn't our time. You know, that was
it
like
really wasn't.
time.
This is not really part of my. I didn't grow up in this time, you know. So anyway, that's kind of what the subject is today, you know. So stealing innocence, you know, we're talking about how you have a picture down there of Diddy and Epstein, you know. So
yeah,
we're going to talk about the pervasive craziness that is the Hollywood industry, but not just the Hollywood industry, I guess the millionaire and billionaire industry that is, I don't know, in the business of human trafficking, and not just human trafficking, child trafficking as well. So Chad, you've got some stuff ready to go for us. So how do you want to
I'll start over because the reason why I kind of really got into this was PBD hosted a person, and I'll go ahead and show it, but her name is Anneke Lucas, and she is a survivor of child, you know, trafficking, and she was trained by, she says she was trained by elites to be you know, like a spy for them, basically. And like we're talking like she only names people who are dead right now, which there was some German officials that was the prime minister from back in her day. I think she even names Rockefeller at one point, or Rothschild, something like that. But yeah, it's like she talks about her experience in this. Now, the only thing that I'll say is like she doesn't name anybody that's alive. Now, I'm thinking she's not doing that for liability reasons for having her book out, which that's her book also there, Quest for Love, Memoir of a Child Sex Slave. Right there if you're watching the thumbnail.
Yes, if she is what she says she is for legal and liability purposes, you know, she does definitely. This book probably did not net her enough money to go after millionaires and billionaires. Like you know, their lawyers would put her into the dirt and bankrupt her before she could see the light at the end of the tunnel for that trial. You know, it is the sad reality of you know, going up against a wealthy person. You know, they have endless lawyers and countless legal teams to put up their defense. You know, you're just working with somebody who's just probably doing it pro bono on the hopes that they can actually see this trial through to some form of settlement to get some restitution for themselves and for their clients. So it's an uphill battle against the wealthy elites, you know, and if what she says is true, again, you know, she wrote a book, but if what she says is true, it's truly scary and disturbing, the links that, and not just the links that the wealthy elites are willing to go to, but for how long they've been doing it. It's really scary, you know. It's like, I mean, it's like what everyone says. It's like, what do elite millionaires and billionaires do? Well, they want to buy islands and they want to do it with kids because they can steal their innocence. Once you have everything, once you have enough money, you can bang all the supermodels you want. You can do all that. It gets old. So what do you want to do? It's like the most interesting thing you can do is destroy innocence. Essentially, it's like, well, that's the only place to go.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and play this. Like I said, I'll just show the first beginning here of the PBD podcast because it's just kind of a brief little like summary. I call it kind of like a trailer for what's about to come.
Sure.
But I think it's really good. But people should go watch this full interview. It is like gripping and like it like tears you apart listening to this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and play it. Here we go.
I want to start off by saying this is a very disturbing, uncomfortable interview to watch. If you're watching this with your kids, they're 12, 10, 14 years old, this is not the one for them to watch. This is 18 and above. If later on you feel comfortable as a parent to have them watch it, do it. You're going to see every emotion in here. There was extreme tension in certain moments, tears, laughter, tension, debate. I had to bring my booker in, Tony, because some of the accusations that were made to clarify certain areas, and Tony came in here. Some of this, she shared some names she's never shared before. Two of the names that she was a sex worker for, you can't even say sex worker at 10 years old. It's human trafficking. One of them she claims, who was a powerful billionaire, you know the name, that she would go to the Bilderberg event party in Europe, and she had abusers who had sex with her at 9, 10, 11 years old, and she would come back and report these stories back to the billionaire. What that information was used for, you know, obviously your imagination can take it to wherever you want to take it. But the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, this is not a podcast you want to sit there. I can't wait to watch this one here. But I think we have to, because you know, with the 359,000 missing children in America as of 2022, according to the FBI, what else do we need to do? Just sit around and not talk about it? No. You know what? It's just too disturbing to watch. It's just too disturbing to watch. Someone's kid is missing. Do we not bring light to it? Do we not address it? I just feel it's our responsibility. And every once in a while, I do these because I think it's our responsibility to bring attention to it. And many of the positions that she took and claims she made, multiple were prime ministers. Multiple were billionaires. These are her claims. And while we're going through it, she was pushed back on some of the claims. But I advise you to go do your own due diligence, your own research while you're going through this. At the same time, while it's not easy to talk about these types of stories, it takes a lot of courage to talk about it. I also don't want to sit there and, you know, claim everyone's guilty. I believe innocent till proven guilty, but I believe go do your research and your own due diligence on the names that she's dropping, and that'll help you understand for yourself as well, especially if you're somebody that's interested in this specific issue as much as I am. I do think it's something that we need to bring more attention to. Having said that, enjoy this uncomfortable interview that I had with Annika Lucas.
They wanted to control
Who?
everybody.
Did you ever meet him?
Meet him? Oh, yeah.
What was he like?
Horrendous.
Unpack it.
He loved being behind the scenes, creating this elite sex slave who was going to make him millions.
It's a $150 billion year industry. I mean,
No. This is a global elite network with specific people in it, and they're not all friends. So there can be infighting happening as well.
mind control training at 9 years old.
Yeah.
Why did they take you there?
A ritual.
Politically related or business?
No, celebrity.
You've
Out.
never talked about this.
I've never said his name. I can't just flop these names out. I have to.
Would this be a person we would know?
Definitely, you would know. You would know the name.
Alive or dead?
I didn't think that this was going to be the kind of conversation we were going to have.
So the audience doesn't think I'm cornering you. You told Tony that you wanted to name names.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Come on, Tony. So when you told me, she said she wanted to name names that she's never named before.
All right, I'll tell you something. I was trained as a spy. That week, I was sleeping with men, and then I would go report on their weaknesses or their sexual preferences.
Is that
I'm not saying.
Did you know that there are...
Woo. Okay, so again, this is why Christians are the most dangerous group of people in society. Because, look, we all serve a master. We all serve something. They said if you serve God and you're incorruptible, because, you know, if you have a moral compass, you're not going to put yourself in situations or allow yourself to be corrupted by this level of temptation, you're probably not going to get into the elite circles because, look, they're not going to let you in these elite circles unless they have dirt on you, unless they have some type of leverage on you. Again, you're not clean unless you're dirty to the elite circles because they want to be able to control you. They want to be able to push on you. They want to have something on you. So again, this is why I think, you know, this is why Christianity is so reviled by the elites, by especially the ruling class. Because they, you know, if somebody tried to work their way into this club and then they were of good moral standing character, it'd be like, well, we can't do anything with this guy because we don't have any way to push or nudge him into the direction we want him to go because his moral compass is led by God. It's led by Jesus. So it's scary stuff. And like that right there, that is horrifying. You know, I mean, I guarantee you should definitely watch that full interview because that's amazing. But again, it's like what Chad said. She doesn't name anybody living today, but again, that's for legal purposes, I would imagine. She only names people that are no longer alive. So, you know, and this isn't just an elite politician thing. It's not just a millionaire and billionaire thing. It's a Hollywood thing. Bringing up the Diddy stuff. Like, Chad, you've got this whole, like, Cat Williams, like, holy cow, like, my respect for Cat Williams shoots through the roof. Like, a lot of people are probably just like, he's just saying this because he's jealous of people like Kevin Hart. He's just saying this stuff because he's jealous of people that he didn't make it bigger than. It's like, no, he rejected a lot of the deals that were given to him because he was like, I'm not doing that. That sounds stupid.
Yep.
So you might watch this this interview with Cat Williams on the Shay Shay podcast, and this is like some of the stuff that Cat Williams is saying, and like you're just like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll watch a little bit of this, and we can kind of give our 2 cents on the other end. But yeah, whenever you're ready, Chad, just is this just a highlight reel?
No, this is like that whole like short little interview thing. But I mean, everything he says, this was 10 months ago, and he's just spitting facts of everything that's been going on lately, and just like this is like prophetic at some points in time. And he's just talking about how certain people just come up and rise out of fame out of nowhere. He's like, it's because they made a deal with the devil. And like he's talking about like the Illuminati's real, and like what what that lady was saying was like, like the Bilderberg meetings, like I said, they do satanic rituals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there's some pretty creepy stuff going on, and like there's multiple people who confirm this stuff. I mean, Cat Williams. I mean, go through the list of celebrities. They're like, yeah, no, the Illuminati is real, and they try to get you. They try to bribe you in, with whatever you want. Like
money,
fame,
specs,
yeah,
whatever you want, whatever your poison is.
So anyway, we'll go off on this, and you can just tell me when you want to stop. I mean, like Cat Williams, you could watch this whole little segment of Cat Williams just going off on,
again,
like, everything.
Before you start it, like I said, it's like that line from Nefarious. It's like the carpenter chose not to give in to the temptations of the devil when he was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights fasting, and the demon that was talking to the guy was like going, yes. But the carpenter never said that those things weren't my master's to give, So again, think of that while you're watching this right here. So
all of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah.
Oh, because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it?
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Cat because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike, because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told them to go get the Prowler. I then told them to paint it purple. I told them don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Kat. Normally, when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows or has ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are like, this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
Why is everyone spiraling?
Man. But yeah, you got Cat Williams dropping some truth bombs. You want to keep going on that one, or do you?
Yeah,
wanna...
I'll try. I'll down the volume while this trailer's playing. I hate commercials.
But again, you know, he's levying some pretty epic accusations on Kevin Hart. He's talking about how it's all planned. You know, it's saying that people are. But I mean, that's classic Hollywood. People taking credit for things they didn't do. Trey Parker and Matt Stone for South Park, like. They did their original Santa versus Jesus paper cutout thing that was like the precursor to South Park. There were people in Hollywood who took credit for creating that and were getting job opportunities because of that little short that they made with paper mache. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until Trey and Matt go, no, that was us. And then like they were able to re-emulate it. People were like, oh, I guess these guys are the original creators. But I mean, that's Hollywood for you. So I mean, is there some truth? There's definitely some truth in what Kevin Hart is saying here, but we'll listen a little longer and he'll get down into some really interesting accusations that make a lot of sense with things like Weinstein and the studio execs.
But with like this, it's like if somebody just comes up, gets famous just out of nowhere overnight, that's what he's talking about. Like I said, they've done some sort of deal with the devil, whether you take that literally or just someone like they're making like some backdoor Hollywood deals, you know, doing some favors for people.
Tim Pool talks about this with the music industry stuff where it's like we've never heard of this band, but their stuff's charting, you know, top 100, and it's because there's some band that works with you know, they're like touring with Taylor Swift or something. They're like the opener, but they've made some type of deals to be like, yeah, you're going to be here, so we're going to artificially send your stuff to the top and play it on radio stations that have deals with our what do you call it, our music company or whatever, and your song will chart just artificially because, you know, we'll play it X amount of times and it'll just artificially chart. And like I said, the organic stuff is like whenever it's like that white rapper on YouTube, Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
I mean, like his stuff is artificial. Like he puts out a song, people love it, and no studio's going to pick it up. No music platform's going to pick it up because they go, we can't control this guy. We don't have anything to do with him, and we don't want to platform this style of music because it's anti-woke. It's anti the establishment. It's going against the grain. It's not something that we want. He's the counterculture. So anyway, we'll get back into this video right now. So sorry about that.
It's Rock, where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, do you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Again, I love what Kat just said there. He's saying, you know, the devil can't give blessings. The devil can't That's what they're doing. Hollywood does this. They create their own narrative. Like they act like Hollywood's rewriting history. Like it's like with that movie where they blame conservatives for killing JFK.
Yeah,
they're rewriting history.
That was an Oliver Stone movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're rewriting history. Like Hollywood gets to write its own history. And like I said, I remember watching that JFK movie in high school. It's like, this is a really accurate film. It's like, no, it's not. Like, not if you look into history. Not if you understand who benefited the most from JFK's death. You're like, oh, it was LBJ.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the other thing too, people who sell their soul. That's so right. I mean, people are just artificially inflated. They artificially get into the industry. And evil, and it goes back to that old adage from what was his name? The guy that wrote the Lord of the Rings, J.R. Tolkien.
J.R. Tolkien, yeah.
Evil
cannot
create,
can only destroy.
Again, evil cannot create; it can only destroy. Why do you think movies suck now? They're inserting gender and DEI ideology into these films, and they're not taking off. Like, literally, folks, I cannot tell you the last time I was excited to go watch a movie.
It was probably Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick was probably the last decent film I've ever seen in theaters. I wanted to like Alien Romulus. I wanted to like it, but they threw some really dumb crap in Alien Romulus that just should not have been in there. Some nostalgia bait. But I think Deadpool and Wolverine was probably the last one that I really enjoyed that was kind of ridiculing DEI. They were like respectfully ridiculing. I don't know. Like Ryan Reynolds flirts with that. It's like, I don't want to be too mean to the people, but
Well, it's the same thing with all Ryan Reynolds movies. Like the first Deadpool was good because it had a good story. It's like, I'm trying to get back to the way things were so I can get back with my girlfriend. And then the second one was just a conjumbled mess of crap. And then the third one was as well, but his relationship with Hugh Jackman was just made for comedy gold. It's literally a buddy cop movie, except with
buddy
Deadpool
anti-hero movie.
Exactly. But that's all it was. It was literally just the humor of them two the entire time that made that movie actually good. It wasn't actually a good story.
Yeah, you watch the movie again, like you watch it, like the rewatchability comes from the comedy, not from the storytelling, for sure. So anyway, we'll go back and we'll jump right back into this. I just kind of wanted to talk about evil, like the whole point, evil can't create, it can only destroy. Cat Williams is correct. That's a prophetic statement he had made earlier.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh, indeed.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Move the bar. It might help you.
I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built.
So
all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
That's what we're talking about right there.
Yeah.
They pay you for things that they don't want you to talk about. That's what we're talking about right there.
Yeah, that's what
they're buying your silence.
That's the DEI narrative. That's the whole what do you call it? Diversity, equity, inclusion narrative. That's the whole gender equity narrative. The trans, don't talk about the stuff we don't want you to talk about. And if you're going to talk about it, you have to toe the line. It's like whenever they're doing the Snow White interviews with Rachel Zegler and what's her name, the lady that played Wonder Woman. It's like she's not going to be rescued by the prince. This is the line. This is the narrative they were told to say by Disney. So it's just sad, you know. And Cat Williams calling these people out, it's good. This is good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going.
Man, it's killing me right now.
Yeah, like I said, drag that.
They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Cat Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Cat Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life.
Twisted Tea.
Play commercials.
Yeah. But again, you know, that's kind of where things are going. Like, I mean, like he's gonna get into the whole. Or I guess, is he already done with the Epstein talk, or was there anything else that he was going to kind of talk about?
I'm not sure. I didn't even watch this all the way through. So this is why a lot of this is news to me.
Yeah. But anyway, folks, I mean, we can actually stop it right there. Like I said, Cat Williams has said some good stuff. He exposed some interesting things about the narratives going on out there in the world. And it's good stuff. Like, I mean, that's a good interview there where he's calling out the industry. He's calling out the elites. He's calling out these people. And again, it's not just the millionaires and billionaire elites trafficking kids. You know, like he was talking about later, I think Cat talks about how in order to get in the industry, he had to dress as a woman and be
take it
had
rectally.
some sodomy.
Yeah,
He had sodomy happen. And he was like, I will absolutely not do that. And they go, well, then you can't have the role. So there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in Hollywood. And Cat Williams stood his ground and said, no, I don't want to do that. If you want me, I'll do the job. But I'm not doing those two things to get this role. And, you know, I guess people like Kevin Hart and others are willing to do those things, which, you know, I guess Cat has standards and those guys are just like, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know,
as long as I get that money.
As long as I get that paycheck. So I don't know. It's interesting stuff, though, folks. It's an evil world we live in. Evil world. But, you know, follow Christ and do what's right and serve. You know, we all have a master. You know, for some of us, our master is Christ. For others, our master is our vices. And what I say is if you serve something greater than yourself, you're going to have better outcomes. You might not get super rich or super wealthy and sit in the elite corner of society, but at least you'll have your soul. You know, if you want to get to the top, sell people, throw other people under the bus, hurt people along the way, as long as you get yours, I mean, that's one way to go about it, but you lose yourself at the end of the day. So with that being said, this is the Twins with Owasso Live. This is the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's all we've got for you today. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.
It's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously. Insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
And I'm going to be real with y'all. I wasn't going to vote this year. But Kamala joining the race, she changed my mind.
I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country.
That's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
Oh, 0.
I bet there's some memories in that house.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
It's just amazing.